Alright, we've got WWE Raw. It's the go home show for No Way Out. We're starting with Heat. Our first match is Super Crazy versus Brian Kendrick. Obviously, last week, Paul London got suspended, so we've got Brian Kendrick on his own. So I thought, put him in a match here on Heat, because I've got nothing for him on Raw. And I was like, this will be a good match. Let's just have this. And it was a good match. They have great chemistry as well. I'm very happy with this. Kendrick performing really well. I do want to push Kendrick as a solo guy, but we've got no teams at the minute, so I'm keeping Kendrick and London together until we have enough teams to carry the division. Speaking of teams, the Hart Dynasty, they get a win against the Teacher's Pets, Damian Sandow and James Curtis. James Curtis contacted me saying he wanted to get called up. If I'm calling him up as a team with Sandow. I'm not calling him up on his own, because the hell am I going to do with this guy? But the Hart Dynasty, they get a win. Then Sinbaldi and Rosie. Rosie has also contacted me wanting to get called up, and I really liked the idea of the Kazani character, so I wouldn't mind bringing him in. They lose to Caden Murdoch. Rosie performing pretty well. That's Heat. We open Raw 86, really good. DX, they come out to the ring and they say No Way Out's on Sunday. We've said it before, it's D-Generation X versus the world. But we know one of us will come out of the Elimination Chamber as the WWE Champion. And then JBL interrupts him and he says, "You got this all wrong. I'm the one that's going to walk out as the WWE Champion. And once again, I will be the greatest WWE Champion of all time." Then Jericho comes out and he's like, "No, you've got it all wrong." And Umaga comes out and he doesn't really talk. And then DX say, "You know what? If you three are looking for a fight, how about right now here on Raw? D-Generation X versus JBL, Chris Jericho, and Umaga. We'll take on the handicap. Let's go." And then the match is about to start. But then John Cena comes out. And Cena says, "You're all probably wondering why I'm out here. I'm not in the chamber match on Sunday. But if I'm going to challenge for the WWE title, it is highly likely that I could be facing one of you five. So what better way to scout the competition than to be a part of this match? D-Generation X, you got yourselves a partner." And so we're set for this big 6-man tag to open Monday Night Raw. Cena and DX versus JBL, Jericho, and Umaga. It's an 80 rating, really good rating. And Cena and DX win. John Cena pins Umaga for the victory. Yeah, it's just kind of this big, high-profile 6-man tag, building towards the chamber match. Maybe you can have some dissension among the heel team. Maybe JBL walks out because he can't be bothered. Umaga only is 63. Like, I really want to push Umaga, but he's going to need to get a bit better. I think Umaga's a major star for us, so performing at 63 is not very good. Backstage, Mike Adamle is with the women, and he's got a contract, and it is for a triple threat match at No Way Out for Beth's women's title. He passes it round, and they all sign it. And he says there is a no contact clause in place. If any of you start fighting with any other, you're out of the match. It'll become a singles match between the other two. And that's more directed to Melina and Mickie James, because they've obviously been going at each other the past couple of weeks. But they're both challenging Beth at No Way Out. Triple threat. We see Vince backstage. He's just preparing. He's going to make his big announcement that he was supposed to make last week. He's got a contract on a table behind him. And he's preparing. He's not looking at the contract because he's just preparing. Otherwise, maybe he's putting on his jacket. Yeah, the contract's just behind him. We get a little zoom in of the contract. What's that all about? Well, we're about to find out, because he comes out and he says, last week was supposed to be my master plan on how to get rid of Hornswoggle, but that idiot Mick Foley, he interrupted me. But it's okay, because we're just going to do it tonight instead. There's still time, and I have the perfect plan that is going to get rid of Hornswoggle for good. So I want to bring out the little bastard. So Hornswoggle, get your ass out here. And Hornswoggle, he comes out. And then Vince goes, I've had tons of great ideas, but one of my greatest ideas came at the start of this year, when I told Ric Flair the next time he loses a match, he has to retire. Usually, lightning doesn't strike twice, but I think in this case, it absolutely does. So Hornswoggle, the next time you lose a match, you are out of the WWE. This contract is for your first match as part of this clause, and that's set for No Way Out. And as your boss, I demand you sign this contract. And Hornswoggle hesitates, but he eventually signs the contract. And Vince just starts laughing. And he's like, I've done it! I've got rid of Hornswoggle! This Sunday, no more Hornswoggle! Because this Sunday at the Elimination Chamber, your opponent is this man. And out comes Mark Henry. So at No Way Out, we are going to see Hornswoggle versus Mark Henry. And if Hornswoggle loses the match, he's out of the WWE, as per the contract Hornswoggle signed. Vince has done it. I mean, surely there's no way Hornswoggle can beat Mark Henry. Is there? We'll find out on Sunday, but what we do know is Ric Flair has his career on the line against Cody Rhodes. And the match is going on. Ric Flair is working the leg of Cody. Cody at this time doesn't wear the knee pads, so he's heavily targeting that knee. Then he puts in the figure 4. That's the end of it. Cody taps. Ric Flair wins. His career continues. And he's celebrating in the ring. And then out comes Mr. Kennedy. 89. Oh my god, that's so good. And Mr. Kennedy, he comes out and he says, last week I may have been unsuccessful against Shawn Michaels. I may not be in the Elimination Chamber match for the WWE title. But I look in front of me and I see a much grander prize. The opportunity to take out a legend for good. So Ric Flair, this is my challenge to you. This Sunday, No Way Out. Ric Flair versus Mr. Kennedy. And Ric Flair interrupts him and he says, nah. And then Ric Flair goes to leave. And Kennedy goes, what the hell? That's not how this conversation is ending. Turn your ass back around. We got business to settle. You'll face Jim Duggan, a washed up has-been that hasn't been relevant since the 1980s. You'll face this charity case, Cody Rhodes, a guy that'll never make it. He's undesirable. But you won't face the future of the WWE, Mr. Kennedy. Are you out of your mind? And Ric Flair says, no, you got it all wrong. I'll face you. That don't bother me at all. I'm just not going to face you at No Way Out. Because when it comes to pay-per-view, the Nature Boy only faces the greatest. And that's not what I look at when I look in front of me. And Mr. Kennedy's like, how dare you? How dare you say I'm not one of the greatest? How about this? How about I prove you wrong right now? I'm in action up next. I want you to keep your ass out here. And then, how about this? If I lose, I won't face you. But if I win, we get our match at No Way Out, where I end your career. And Flair says, you know what then? I'll give you your opportunity, kid. Let's see what you got. When Flair gets out of the ring, he takes a seat at ringside. Mr. Kennedy's in the ring, he's awaiting his opponent. And who the hell is this guy? Scotty Goldman. And Kennedy is taking the match extremely lightly. And it almost starts to cost him. Scotty Goldman begins to have a bit of fun and he's making a fool out of Mr. Kennedy, doing some comedy stuff, some comedy whips, and it's pissing Mr. Kennedy off. And eventually, Mr. Kennedy snaps, just big clothesline to Scotty Goldman, takes his head off. Green Bay plunge from the corner, and once he starts taking it seriously, he beats Scotty Goldman in about a minute. So Mr. Kennedy wins. It will be Kennedy versus Flair at No Way Out. But Scotty Goldman looking kind of impressive. And it seems this won't be the last we see of Scotty Goldman here in WWE. 42 rating for Scotty, yeah, that's really good. Kennedy 65's really good as well for someone of his level. Really good match overall. Backstage, we see Cody Rhodes. Hardcore Holly's got him over his shoulder. And he's congratulating him. He said, "You did great out there, kid. You hung with one of the greatest, Ric Flair. You got nothing to be ashamed of." And Cody's kind of limping. The knees hurt from the match. And eventually, Cody's leg just completely gives way and he falls to the floor. Referees come in, they're helping Cody out. It seems a bit more damage to Cody's leg has been done than initially thought. 34. You'd think this would do better than that. Maybe in the 40s, but whatever. What are you going to do? We get a 47. Santino Marella and Maria Kanellis. They are on their date in Venice, Italy. They're at a nice romantic restaurant. They're sitting there. And a waiter, he brings out a bowl of fruit for them, puts it on the table. And Santino looks at the bowl of fruit and he sees an apple in there. And he picks up the apple and just chucks it out of the waiter. And he's like, "What the hell is this? You're putting apples in here? Are you a stooge? Are you aligned with Carlito? You trying to get Maria away from me? It's not gonna work. Get your ass out of here. I want a different waiter." And the waiter's like, "What the hell? I just brought you a damn bowl of fruit." Has no idea what's going on, but he leaves. And Santino and Maria, they start to have a bit of a heart-to-heart. And Santino's like, "What does Carlito have that I don't have? I have Italian blood. I am the best looking guy in the WWE. You have it all because you have me. What the hell does Carlito have? He has an apple? That's nothing. You have it all right here. You don't need Carlito because you have Santino Marella. And together, we are unstoppable." So Santino really trying to prove himself to Maria. He says, "I'm the best. You've got me. And you don't need Carlito." 47. Fine. Speaking of Carlito, he's in action as we are back in the arena, obviously. Facing Charlie Haas. Kind of a squash match, but Haas gets a little bit of offense in. We go into heat. Gets the heat in, but Carlito comes back. Carlito wins. And that's that. Just nice little win for Carlito. 43. Yeah, I'd expect a little bit better from these performances. Maybe a high 40s. A little bit disappointed there. William Regal, he goes into Mike Adamley's office, and William Regal, he wants a shot at Jeff's Intercontinental title. And Mike Adamley's like, "Regal, you can have your championship match. It's not going to happen at the Elimination Chamber. It's going to happen next week on Monday Night Raw. However, I said it to Jeff Hardy last week when he interrupted in your match. I'm going to say it to you. Now I'm in charge. We're not having interferences. I want this to be a clean show, and I want business to be settled in the ring. So if you get involved in tonight's champion versus champion match between Jeff Hardy and Randy Orton, that title match next week is off." And Regal says, "You have my word." And they shake hands. Regal walks off. So it seems next week, William Regal versus Jeff Hardy for the Intercontinental Championship. 51. I would have expected Regal to bring this up a little more, but again, what you gonna do? Then Vince, he's backstage, he's leaving, he's over the moon. He's finally sorted out the Hornswoggle problem. And he opens the door to his limousine. And Mick Foley's in there. And Mick Foley's like, "Hey Vince, I was watching the show here on the TV in your limo." And he kind of pans, and there's like a TV in the back of the seat. And Foley's like, "I saw what you did out there. An amazing idea. An amazing idea that only you could come up with, Vince. But you know what'd be even more amazing? If you made me the Raw General Manager. I have amazing ideas too. And imagine if we could work together here on Monday Night Raw, we could easily make this the best show on television." And Vince, he's kinda not listening to him, and he goes, "Get the hell out of my limo." And Foley, he gets out of the limo, and Vince just gets in the limo and leaves. And Foley just kinda like shrugs. He's like, "Oh, I just want to be the Raw GM, man." 76. So Foley's trying to be the Raw GM. It's not working out for him. We'll see how things go. Really good segment there. Then Todd Grisham, he's backstage with John Cena, and he says, "John, you competed in the 6-man tag tonight. You pinned Umaga in the 6-man tag. Has been in the ring tonight with some of the chamber participants. Swayed your WrestleMania decision that you're gonna make at No Way Out." And Cena says, "I've thought about it. The decision for who I'm gonna face changes every single day. One day I wake up, I want to challenge for the world title. Next day I wake up, I want to challenge for the WWE title. Tonight has been interesting. I stepped in the ring with 5 out of the 6 chamber participants. I got the win tonight. Well, I saw a lot of potential matchups for WrestleMania." And then Chris Jericho, he walks in and he says, "John, I hope you pick the WWE title. If you pick the WWE title, you'll be facing me. And I would love nothing more than to put you back on the injured list." And then Shawn Michaels, he comes in and he says, "Well, John, I'd love to face you at WrestleMania as well. We faced last year, and I'd love to get my win back." And then Triple H says, "You want to talk about getting wins back? I want to get my win back from WrestleMania 22. And then JBL comes in and he says, "I want to get my win back from WrestleMania 21. So they all confront Cena, and Cena's like, I don't know what to pick. This is so hard. But it's main event time. And Lillian Garcia is in the ring. Randy Orton and Jeff Hardy make their entrance. And then Lillian Garcia does the ring introductions. It's Randy Orton versus Jeff Hardy. And the match is going on. It is back and forth. Orton gains control and the crowd are rooting for Jeff Hardy. Jeff Hardy's their guy. And Jeff, he comes back, but Orton just cuts him right back off. And it seems the WWE champion just has this. He's the better man, he's the better champion. But Jeff starts to get a comeback going. And he hits a twist of fate on Randy Orton. Goes for the cover, but Orton kicks out. The fight continues. Orton hits the RKO on Jeff Hardy. Cover, 1, 2, but Jeff Hardy kicks out. And Orton is shocked by this. He thought that was the end of it. He picks him up. RKO again. Cover, 1, 2, but Jeff Hardy kicks out again. And Orton starts going to that place, as the commentators like to say. And he goes in the corner, and he's setting up for the punt kick. And he runs in, but Jeff moves at the last minute, gets up on his feet, twist of fate to Orton. The crowd erupt. Hardy gets up, he takes off the tank top, throws it in the crowd, goes on the top for the swanton, hits the swanton, cover on Randy Orton, 1, 2, 3. Jeff Hardy pins the WWE champion clean as a whistle. 58. That's awful for this. I mean, they didn't click. I wanted this to be like top tier match, and it's really not. It's done awful. I am so gutted at that, man. And the fact they didn't click, that seems to be the only thing that brought it down. But let's not deter. Jeff Hardy has pinned the WWE Champion. Again, he's pinned the champ clean as a whistle. No excuses. Jeff Hardy stands tall to end Monday Night Raw. And with the WWE Champion losing, what does that mean going into No Way Out? But just a huge way to end Raw. 73 rating. I think that might be our best show so far. I wouldn't be surprised with that 86, that 89, then the 88 here in our segments. That definitely brought us up. We had the 80 rated tag there. That should have been the main, considering what our main event did get, but I was obviously expecting it to get way higher. But 73, pretty good rating considering our roster at the time. I'm hoping ECW and SmackDown can also get some pretty good ratings this week. I have big shows planned for all of them. And obviously No Way Out, that's going to be big. That's going to be the show after our next episode, which is obviously going to be ECW and SmackDown. ECW, it's 90-minute special, so going to get a bit of a longer episode. It's probably going to pass the half an hour mark. But that's going to be the end of this. Unless we have any drug-related incidents, which I kind of hope not. But that's the end of the episode. I'll see you on ECW and SmackDown. See ya.